letting go is not as simple as we make it seem. Like it's just, I'm cutting the cord and I'm feeling free and I'm freeing myself. If you don't know what it feels like to be free, you're gonna hate it. If you don't know what it feels like to be unanchored to someone, to be untethered to someone because you've been so used to being attached to people your whole life, you're gonna hate not being attached to someone. I saw a quote that said, "The final act of love is letting go." And that hit me so hard. Like to think that you can love someone by letting them go. But it's not just that. It's that the greatest act of love towards them could be that you let them go. Sometimes we love people so hard and we try so hard to make it work, and we shower them with everything that we have within us, but we feel like it's falling on empty grounds, like it's falling on a concrete floor that has nowhere to absorb that love. We're throwing it onto an empty bucket with holes at the bottom. We're pouring so much of that love and it has nowhere to go. And so we end up feeling like we're suffocating because so much of what we are depleting from within us is not coming back to us at all. And we're also not seeing it contribute to the growth of another person, or we're not seeing it make that other person feel the love that we so badly and so much have for them. So the final act of giving them that love is to no longer give them that love, is to just release them. That bond that we have that's holding us to them, that we are so tightly bound to and we feel like we can't let go, to just finally release it. Just let it go. And it hurts because there's a part of you that thinks, I've invested so much, I've given so much. There was supposed to be something in return. There was supposed to be that happy ending. There was supposed to be that grand gesture that finally made all of it worth it. And with letting go comes the acceptance that that's never going to happen. When you decide to let go, you not only decide to let go of that person, you decide to let go of the hope that you could have gotten something in return from them. You let go of the hope that this could have gone to a different place than the place that it got to. You let go of all the ideas that you thought you really wanted with that person. And you're not letting them go with anger or resentment. You're letting them go with love. How does that make sense, to put the two concepts together, to love someone and let them go at the same time? Because what you think of what you love is, I want to hold on to this so hard. I want to keep this in my life. I want to make it work. You think that that's what love means. But just like I've always said, sometimes the kindest thing you can do for someone is to no longer give them your kindness, so that they could learn the lessons that they need to learn on their own without your kindness. Sometimes the greatest act of love towards someone is to no longer give them your love, is to allow them to go out into the world and explore and discover what it is that they want, what it is that they value. They might be looking for a kind of love that's so different from the one that you have to give. And that doesn't mean that your love is not great. Maybe they're just not prepared to receive the kind of love that you have to offer. Maybe they're not the kind of person who shows gratitude for those pure things in life, like being so loving and being so caring. Maybe you're giving too much to somebody who wants or who's learned to survive on too little. Maybe you're giving too much to someone who's learned to equate people giving them with people trying to manipulate them. Maybe you're giving too much love to someone who believes that accepting love from someone means that they have to give that same amount in return, and they know they can't. They know they don't have the capacity for it. Yet here you are thinking, if they are not accepting my love, if they are not valuing what I have to give, it must mean that something is wrong with me. That's a belief that started way before you met them. And you think that if you can change that belief through them by getting them to take that love in and reciprocate it, then you can change the belief about yourself that something is wrong with you. Instead of going back to the belief itself and changing it, you are trying to change it by changing the way that someone treats you, by changing the way that someone loves you, by changing the way that someone accepts or rejects your love. But you can change the belief itself. And I know it's hard because it's not like life just comes with a manual, or once you realize that belief that you have about yourself, that something is wrong with you or that you are too much, once you know that belief is wrong, it's not like a snap of a finger and you can get rid of it. That belief is like cemented within your body. It has been with you for a lot longer than what you can remember, but your body knows. That's why you go through times and phases where you behave in ways that you know logically are wrong, but that's your body's way of survival. Overreacting is a survival mechanism. Underreacting is a survival mechanism. But you look back at yourself and you say, oh my God, I did way too much. I said things I know I didn't mean, but in the moment I felt like I couldn't. And you judge yourself. But in that moment, that's all you thought you could do, because that was what survival looked like to you. Is by expressing yourself in a way that projects a much younger version of you that is still stuck in the past when you started experiencing certain things that told you that you're too much, or that told you that something must be wrong with you, or that told you that your love for people is just way too heavy and way too much. It's that younger version of you coming back to this moment, or coming forward to this moment in the present, saying, hi, we haven't resolved that. This is all we know. This is the only way we've learned to survive moments like this, is to either shut down or make something mean a lot less than what it actually means, or make something mean a lot more than what it actually means. But there's no judgment there, because you're healing. You're becoming aware of the patterns. You're becoming aware of certain events that went unresolved when you were younger that now are telling you, you can't move on without resolving this. And it's not about being stuck in the past. It's not about saying, I'm a victim and, I had such a bad childhood. You hear people saying, like, get over it. Those people are the ones who haven't gotten over it. Those people are the ones who've learned to shut down their feelings and shut down their emotions. But this is what I want you to imagine. What you're doing over time is you're accumulating what we call emotional debt. You are accumulating a mountain of unresolved experiences and unresolved beliefs and unresolved trauma responses and unresolved ways of seeing yourself and seeing the world around you. And you're saying, I'm not going to deal with that. I'm not going to deal with that. I'm the bigger person. I'm much more mature than this. I'm at an age where this shouldn't get to me. I'm in a place in my life where this shouldn't get to me. You make all these excuses to not deal with everything that's accumulating. So then what happens, and this is why people become so emotionally unavailable. Okay, this is really important because I think it's very misunderstood when we talk about people being emotionally avoidant. We think it's like a choice that they've consciously made. It's not. When over the years you've accumulated unresolved patterns and unresolved feelings and unresolved, this person rejected me, my parent rejected me, my friend rejected me, but I'm not going to deal with it because I'm bigger than that, blah, blah, blah. Then they meet you and you are emotionally open and you are vulnerable and you want to talk about things and you want to resolve things. In order for them to resolve things with you, they have to resolve everything else that came before you. They have to resolve what's within them before they can resolve what's with you, between the two of you. You have to recognize that. And I'm not making it as an excuse for people who are emotionally unavailable. I'm helping you understand where emotional unavailability comes from. In order for them to get to your level, to where you are emotionally, they have to dig deeper to get to the place that came before all the unresolved stuff. They have to get in touch with themselves before they can show you anger. Because, sometimes we complain about the people we're with not showing any kind of emotion. You're just like, aren't you angry? Aren't you going to say something? You get so frustrated. Before they show anger with you, before they show any kind of emotion with you, they have to experience the anger that they stopped themselves from experiencing years ago, experiences ago. They have to allow themselves to confront the people in their past, not necessarily physically face to face, but to confront the people in their past who they depended on for safety and for feeling secure and for feeling like I can depend on you, I can trust you. They have to confront them. They have to confront those emotions. They have to go back to that moment, and instead of shutting down and internalizing that just because this person treated me badly or broke my trust or made me feel insecure or made me feel unsafe, it doesn't mean that I deserve that. Because back then, they believed they deserved that, or they believed that that's just how life is. That's how it's supposed to be. Before they can handle now, and it's not just about them, it's also about you. Before they or you can handle now, you need to be able to go back and handle then. Handle the past. The reason that we overreact, or the reason that we try so hard in the present to prevent certain pains from happening, is because the pains from the past that weren't resolved are coming to this moment. And they're saying, we want to be heard too. So when someone betrays you, it's not just that you're reacting in this moment to the betrayal. That time that someone broke your heart in the past comes to now. That time that a friend broke your trust or betrayed you or backstabbed you comes from the past to now and says, I want to be heard too. So now you're reacting to a moment of betrayal with moments of betrayal that were never resolved. And your reaction comes across as way too overblown and way too much. But it's not. It's what's already there that's saying, please hear me too. Please express me too. So I hope this helps you understand the way that you react in the moment, and that you understand the way that people react to you in the moment. And it's not to excuse their behavior. And it's also not to excuse yourself and give yourself I don't care. I'm reacting this way because I went through stuff. Well, you can go through stuff and not spill it on other people. You can go through stuff and not make other people suffer as a result of that. It's like when people say, I was going through a really hard time when I said those things to you. Okay, well, I go through really hard times too. I don't allow that to poison other people. If somebody else injected me with poison, it doesn't mean that I have permission to take that poison and inject it into others. It's my responsibility to give myself the help that I need before I put myself in a position where I spill that poison on other people or use them to get that poison out, you know? So never take that as an excuse, not in a way to excuse yourself or to allow others to use it as an excuse to mistreat you or to hurt you. Now, we started with the topic of letting go, and it was important to talk about unresolved patterns from the past and unresolved beliefs from the past, because one of those really big beliefs that many of us has is, I don't deserve love, or I need to work hard to earn love. And that's what makes letting go so hard, when you've expended so much of yourself thinking the end goal is to earn this person's love, and now you're left with the only decision possible, which is to stop trying. Just let them go. Just no longer seeing them as the recipient of everything that you have to offer. That's so hard because you're trained to work, to earn, to try so hard, and all of a sudden you're going to go against everything that you've ever believed is the right thing to do, or that you've ever been conditioned is the right thing to do. It is a great act of courage to decide to let go when you've been conditioned that strength is holding on, that strength is persevering and getting through the tough times. And yes, strength is persevering and getting through the tough times. But if all you're doing is digging yourself a deeper hole and making it harder for yourself to let go and making it harder for yourself to walk away, like if you know this is a dead end, what is the purpose of continuing to try? Is a miracle going to happen where all of a sudden they're going to turn around and say, I'm a completely changed person and I'm ready for you. I'm ready for the love that you have to give me. Sometimes people do come back. You know, I hear this all the time on TikTok. People are like, they always come back. First of all, no, they don't. Second of all, if they do, why are they coming back? And why does it make you happy that they're coming back? Is it because you're trying to change your belief about yourself that you don't deserve love or that your hard work is going to go unnoticed? Is it because that belief is changing? Because now your ego's like, see, they came back to me. You can say those things to soothe yourself when you're hurt. You can say things like, they're never going to meet someone like me. It's true. They're never going to meet someone like you. You can say things like, they're never going to meet somebody who's going to give them the kind of love I gave them. And it's true. They're never going to meet somebody who's going to give them that kind of love. But why is that the focus? That could be a stage of your healing. But you need to come back to yourself. And instead of saying, they're never going to find someone like me, you can say, I have me. I know who I am. I know the kind of love I have to offer. And I know where it deserves to land. And I know what I deserve to get in return. And I know that I don't need to work hard to prove to someone that they should love me. I know that love can't be bought. Not just with money, but with time, with effort, with grand gestures. I know that love can't be bought with self-betrayal. I can't be buying people's love by betraying myself and my own love for myself. Like, that's the moment when you're like, letting go really is the best answer, because what I'm doing by holding on to someone who I know doesn't appreciate the kind of love I have to offer, or doesn't have the capacity to hold the kind of love that I have to offer, or doesn't have the willingness to reciprocate, or doesn't have the willingness to put the kind of effort and energy that I'm putting into them, by saying, I no longer want to hold on to that, you are saying, I am deciding to self-preserve. I am deciding to no longer allow myself to bleed so that somebody else could live. I'm deciding to no longer leave every version of me that is aching for me to give them that love. I'm no longer allowing all these versions to wait just because all of my love is going towards someone who's never going to see that love and who's never going to appreciate it and who's never going to look at me and say, I see you for who you are. Just do for me. Be there for me. It doesn't work that way. So when you decide to let go, not only are you letting go of them, you are letting go of this addiction that you have to try to convince someone that you are worthy just because of how much you have to give. You're kind of releasing them and releasing yourself at the same time. And you know what's happening? And I'm getting goosebumps saying this. As you are making that decision to let go, and as you are letting go, you know who's standing around you and giving you a round of applause for doing that? Every single past version of you that needs your love, that never got it. Every past version of you that needs your compassion, that needs your empathy, that needs your time, that needs your validation and didn't get it because the adults around you didn't give it to you and the people who you depended on for safety and security didn't give it to you. They're standing there giving you a round of applause because they know you finally started learning that your worth is not dependent on what somebody else sees in you. They've known all along what your worth is. You've known all along what your worth is, and now you're acting on it. So they're standing all around you. They're giving you a round of applause. They're telling you, welcome back, welcome home. And all the future versions of you that are aching for you to be there, to be that loving, that self-loving person, that person who knows your worth, who knows your value, who knows what you have to offer. They are standing there saying, good for you. We've been waiting for this moment. That means you're closer to us. Because those best versions of you in the future, the evolving, the growing, the self-loving, the confident, the I know who I am versions of you are saying, you're one step closer to us. That's amazing. They're congratulating you. The final act of love is letting go. Think about that. You can leave someone with so much love for them, but what you're saying is, I'm leaving the love that I have for you over here. I'm no longer going to be the channel through which you get it. You know it's here. You know how I feel about you. You know what I would do for you. But I'm no longer going to convince you to take it. It's here. I'm leaving it here. You can decide what you want. If you want to move on, move on. I'm not going to try to beg you to stay here. I'm not going to continue to carry all this heavy weight of everything that I want to give you that you're not taking and walk around depleted and exhausted and not able to focus on anything in my life just because you're not taking it. That's what you're saying. It's not just the final act of love, it's the final act of courage to say, I'm letting you go. I'm not trying anymore. It's so freeing and liberating. And let me warn you, once you decide to let go, you will get that initial round of applause from all the past and future versions of you. You will get that initial, tears. Like, I did something that's so big and I know I did something that's in my best interest. But then real life hits you again. And you're supposed to go through every moment that you were trained to be trying so hard. And now you're not trying anymore. You're going to feel like you're lazy. You're going to feel like you're empty. You're going to feel like you have no purpose because you've been trying so hard to get yourself to that end goal of they're finally going to see my worth. They're finally going to reciprocate. They're finally going to give me back what I'm giving them. That's no longer there. So you're kind of going to feel like a balloon that was anchored to a heavy weight, and all of a sudden someone cut that balloon and it's just going up and not knowing where to go. It's aimless. But that's the good news. You're now unanchored. You're no longer stuck. And sometimes it feels better to be stuck than it feels to be uncertain. Where am I going? Where am I headed? What am I doing with my life? Figure out what you're doing with your life. Look at all the beautiful places you're going to be going over when you're unanchored and uncertain. And decide, maybe you want to rest here for a while. Try something new. Maybe you decide for a while you don't want to do anything. You just want to rest and relax, and that's fine. Your nervous system needs it. It's been working overtime for so long. There's nothing wrong with that. It takes away from the pain of letting go to anticipate how hard it's going to be. It takes away from the pain of letting go to anticipate how hard it's going to be. If you know it's hard, you can just tell yourself that. I'm going through a tough time. Like today's going to be a crappy day. This month is going to be a crappy month. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like, don't lie to yourself. Don't listen to all this toxic positivity that's like, your words matter. Yes, your words matter, but your healing matters more. You're not going to gaslight yourself out of grief by saying, I'm okay, I'm fine. Grief doesn't work that way. You're going to be sad. And it's a lot more powerful to say, I know I'm going to be sad, than it is to say, I shouldn't be sad. It's a lot more powerful to say, I know I'm going to go through a phase where I'm really going to want to reach out to them, where I'm really going to want to make this work. And I'm going to go through that, and I'm going to be able to actually get through it without reaching out. It's a lot more powerful to do that and say that to yourself than it is to say, I'm much bigger than that. I'm much more mature than that. I'm much more wise than that. What does that mean? Those are words. You have to meet yourself where you actually are. The wisest person on earth will still go through grief, will still go through anger, through denial, through negotiation, through acceptance, through numbness, and not feeling anything at all. It has nothing to do with wisdom, and it has nothing to do with emotional maturity. To be emotionally mature means you know how to handle emotions. You know how to welcome them. You know how to say, this is how I'm feeling right now, even just to yourself in the mirror or inside of you with that inner voice that you have. That's emotional maturity. It's not the nothing affects me and I'm detached, and that's not emotional maturity. That is the emotional unavailability that I was talking about earlier. If you're looking for more on letting go, I just thought about this. I have a whole audiobook on letting go titled Conversations on Letting Go. I talk you and people who've sent their stories in, so you, about how do you let go from beginning to end of a person, of injustice. You know, if you've gone through something, some form of betrayal, whether it's from a person in your life or a figure of authority, whatever it is, any form of love or attachment that you've had in your life, friendship breakups, I talk you through the journey of just letting go, even letting go of past versions of you that you no longer recognize, letting go of who you thought you needed to be. So I hope you enjoy it while you're listening to it, and I know it will bring you so much healing. Letting go is not as simple as we make it seem. Like it's just I'm cutting the cord and I'm feeling free and I'm freeing myself. If you don't know what it feels like to be free, you're gonna hate it. If you don't know what it feels like to be unanchored to someone, to be untethered to someone because you've been so used to being attached to people your whole life, you're going to hate not being attached to someone. You're going to feel like something's wrong with you. You're going to feel like, I don't know who I am because I used to see myself through their eyes. Who am I? It's a whole journey of self-discovery. So when you decide to let go of someone, I hope that you give yourself the compassion and understanding that you would give a stranger on the street who's struggling with letting go. Don't look at yourself as this perfect person who is supposed to go through letting go in a certain way, in a noble and honorable way. You might go through it in the messiest way. You might, as people say nowadays, crash out. Nothing is wrong with that. That is a part of your healing. Accept that. Just like you held on for as long as you did, and you suffered for as long as you did while holding on, and you cried as much as you did for that time that you were holding on to something that was hurting you, to someone that was hurting you, just like you expended so much of your time and energy into holding on, and just like you went through all of these tough times while you're holding on, you will go through tough times while you're letting go. It's a natural part of life. It's a natural part of any transition that you go to. Which reminds me, none of this was planned, by the way. The Only Constant, my most recent book, is all about going through these big life changes. It's all about how do you go through the transition of knowing where you're headed and all of a sudden you don't. And like you've known that you were headed in the wrong direction, but you were still heading in that direction because you're like, at least I'm going somewhere. And now all of a sudden you're like, I can't be going down that path anymore. But then which path do I go on? And how do I know that this next path is going to be okay? And that's the secret, is you don't know and you're not supposed to know. Because if you knew, then you would know exactly where you're going to get. Nothing in life works that way. You could take the exact same program in university or college that somebody else took and end up with a completely different career, end up with a completely different life, because life works for you differently than it works for others. Let go of the uncertainty. Let go of the discomfort with uncertainty. And the way to do that is to say, I'm uncomfortable with uncertainty. But it's okay to be uncomfortable. Like, I can live with being uncomfortable. The reason that we try so hard to jump back from uncertainty to certainty, for example, when you go through a breakup and you're just like, I just want to get back together with them. The reason that you do something like that is because the certain path, you've experienced it. You know where it's going to lead you. But the uncertain path is like, I have to decide for myself, and I have to deal with this and deal with things that I've never dealt with before. I have to, for the first time in my life, be the decision maker for all the little things and the big things. That's hard. Beautiful, but hard. And it's going to take a while for you to see it as beautiful. It's taken a while for you to be conditioned that someone making choices for you, or someone dictating your mood, or someone telling you how to be or who to be or how to talk or how to dress. You went through all that conditioning to a point where you became numb to it and you've accepted it, but you struggled with it, right? You're going to struggle with the complete opposite. You're going to struggle with becoming the leader of your life. Very natural. Accept that. And to accept it doesn't mean, oh, I'm so okay with it. I'm so comfortable with uncertainty. No, it's not that. To accept something means you see it as it is. It is what it is. It's another uncertain day. You don't know what's going to happen the next hour. You don't know what's going to happen the next day. When you are in a certain toxic situation, you know to expect toxicity, but you've learned to survive toxicity. You've never learned to survive freedom. You've never learned to survive peace. you've never learned to survive love. Learn how to do it. I hope this helps. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. And until next week, have a good day.